Got it. And it's saying prepare to go live, but obviously, as we all know, it means I'm live.
Yeah.
So do not swear for the first few minutes.
Fuck.
Oh, fuck. Yep, we're live, I believe. So. And it's saying prepare to go live, but obviously, as we all know, it means I'm live. This is really weird because I haven't done this before, so this is opening up another. So I don't know how this works. I think we're live. We're live
on YouTube, going by what it tells me.
We're live. Are we live? Let's just see.
I haven't done this before, so this is opening up another.
Yep, we're live. We have one viewer, myself. Yes. I'll just do a wee kind of throw out there, guys, that we're live.
Go.
Does it say we're live on your side, yeah?
Yes, I am also watching it for the chats.
Just going to send out all the... Right, we're live. Hi guys, welcome to our live show. Myself, Jordan, that effing guy. You can see my logo there, my new polo shirt. Oosh. And I am joined by the great Matty Monsta.
Hey guys.
Who cares, nerds? I think everything's working right. Yeah, everything's working right. I think so. So we're going to do a nostalgia. We're going to take a trip down nostalgia lane, and we're going to discuss TV shows from our childhood, cartoons, live action TV shows, whatever. Matty wasn't prepared for the live action side, so I'm like, he's like, yeah, let's do some cartoons, some X-Men, some Spider-Man. I'm just like, nah, man, fuck it, Baywatch. Let's talk about Baywatch.
I'm live.
So yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
You tell everybody in the house that you're live, and then we just get interruptions.
I never seen that. What happened?
Susie tried to bust in the door.
Brilliant. So yeah, I'm gonna get my list up. Get my list of what. So yeah, I'm trying to balance everything at once here on my screen.
So for everybody at home that cares, we were on my podcast a couple of weeks ago, and after the podcast, we made a plan to eventually get back round to this one, which is going to be a more regular thing from now on.
Yes, definitely.
That's the aim. And we're going to try and talk about our favourite TV shows from our childhood, which I think Jordan's already covered, just filling empty space. I was told cartoons, so I've wrote down about nearly 30 odd cartoons, but Jordan's just went off script and decided to do every fucking TV show. So
everything, absolutely.
No doubt what we're talking about, Baywatch, Tracy Beaker, all that stuff.
Yes. Oh, Tracy Beaker. I forgot about that one. Good one. So, so what we have is obviously, usually I say, tonight's episode is sponsored by Volvic Mango Passion, but tonight we've got a change up. We've got Calypso Ocean Blue Lemonade. I haven't tried it yet, so I'm going to try it in my RoboCup. It's literally called RoboCup, by the way. So yeah,
I'm going to need to get myself a comical cup now for this. If I'm going to go on regular.
I know. If we're going to talk about this more, if we're going to do more often, we're going to do that. So let's crack this bad boy open. Oh. Smells nice. It smells nice, but usually when things smell nice, they don't taste nice.
I mean, it just looks like numbers, but okay.
Nah, it's shit. It's bland as hell.
So we won't be getting sponsored after them.
Oh, wait, there's little bits in it. I bet I need to shake it, don't I? Oh, come on, man. It tastes better now. I had to shake it. Fuck. Well, I've got nothing to really. Let's use this pen. Whether that makes any sense, I don't know. We'll see what happens now. Right. Anyone who's watching, obviously join in on the chat below. Tell me what you love, what your favorite TV shows were growing up as a child, even if it's Bob the Builder. I don't care, the Tweenies or the Teletubbies. I love these shows, actually. I love Bob the Builder. Bob the Builder was fantastic, voiced by the greats. I was going to say Martin Clunes. It wasn't. It was Neil Morrissey from Men Behaving Badly. Men Behaving Badly. Have you ever watched that, Matty?
Aye, I watched that. I used to watch it when I was wee, but I never obviously paid attention to it when I was wee because my dad used to watch it. But it was on YouTube a couple of months ago.
It's a great show, so it is.
Oh, YouTube, Netflix.
Yeah. Also, how's your day been today, Matty?
This is the start of my day.
That's right. You've obviously just woke up from your night shift. Do you want to know how my day went?
I don't know, but you're going to tell us anyway.
Yeah, I've already kind of teased it in my posts on what we're going to talk about today. There's weird little floaters in this drink. I don't know if that's normal or not.
That's how they get you.
I don't know. I like the glass. I love these cups, these glasses. I keep them. I don't know why. They're just fun to have. So today, for the viewers and for yourself, I went to, and I'm not afraid to tell, I'm not ashamed to tell this. I went to the Queen Elizabeth up in Glasgow for a sperm check to make sure everything's okay down below. And it was not the experience I expected, because I always thought that you go into the room and there's a nice couch you can just lie on so you can get yourself into the zone. No. So I chapped the door and a woman answered the door, a nurse, a doctor, or whatever, and she's called Karen, of all names, Karen. So Karen opened the door and says, Jordan, said, yep, come on in. So I walked in with my little cup. Been months in the planning, my little cup. So went in. And she sat me down in, the sheet and all that kind of stuff, questionnaire basically, how you feeling? When was the last time you produced specimen?
Positive.
Yeah. Have you been here before? I'm just like, yeah, I've got a regular fucking, membership here. Shit like that. And it was like a room of it was like a kind of waiting room, like kind of doctor's waiting room. And there was 4 blue chairs spaced out, blue plastic chairs from IKEA. The same color of this drink. And she said, the toilet's in there. When you're done, give me a call on the number. Give me a holler on the old phone. 89. I shouldn't even say the number actually. I'm not going to do that. But it's one of those kind of things. It's one of those kind of, it's like offices have numbers to phone each other, in office kind of
numbers.
Yeah, it's one of the key numbers, right? So I'll just say it. So it's 89488. So I was like, okay, no problem at all. And it said in the sign as well, if you're finished, give us a holler. So she says, it was kind of awkward. It was an awkward experience from the get-go, because when you sat down, she was like, toilets there, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I didn't want to say, is this it? But she kind of looked at me and I looked at her, and it was just like that kind of thing, that kind of tension of, me saying with my facial expressions, is this it? And she's like, in her head, she's like, uh-huh. And she says, the door's locked, my door's locked, it's all good. So I was like, okay. So, I sat there for several minutes being like, where's the couch? This is fucking, this is a kind of casting couch. Where's the couch? Where's the, I'm going to be X-rated here. Where's the porn mags? Where's the DVDs? Where's the, where, I mean, don't get me wrong. I went in with high expectations thinking there's a fucking American Pie film. It's not. Going with low expectations. They want you, it's done and dusted in several minutes. So I was in there for half an hour. I was just couldn't get comfortable at all. I could not get comfortable. So I was like, I phoned Kirsty. She was outside in the car. My girlfriend Kirsty, she was in the car outside. And I'm like, Kirsty, this is petrifying. So why? It's it's an empty room. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, I Snapchatted a video of the empty room. And she's just like, is that the waiting room? And I was like, no, this is the room. This is the room.
This is the doing it room.
Chair. What's that?
This is the doing it room.
This is the doing it room. So I was like, do I sit? I was trying to get myself comfortable. So I was like, well, I sit in the floor up against the wall or something. I don't really know how to do this because I usually do this in bed or, on my couch. Not the living room couch, my man cave couch. But like that'd be disgusting. But I was just like, I don't get this. This is really, really, whatever.
Ever come to your house, I'm gonna have to bring alcoholic wipes just to wipe.
I know.
Like,
It was one of those kind of things like, thankfully, the 4G works. So I had my phone, obviously, because I think myself, I was expecting like magazines or something, but thankfully my phone came to help, and the 4G was fantastic. But I was like, I do not like this at all. So I was like, do I just undress? Do I just like take my clothes off? I don't know what to do here. I'm not used to this shit. So I started to kind of undress, and then I was like, so there's like the door, and there's like a pane of glass, but in between the glass is like glimpses of outside, like the sign, people walking past. And I was like, I know obviously it's a busy hospital or a busy unit, so people aren't going to be like, oh, there's another guy, chugging one off. Let's look at him, let's spy on him. So I wasn't really sure what to do here. So I was like, people can fucking see me. So do you know what I done? I went into the toilet and locked the door. Even though the room's locked, I went and locked the door in the toilet. So I done the business, as you do after half an hour. But during me doing the business, I didn't realize this. So the lights are censored with movement. So every fucking light turned off. So I'm sitting there in the dark on a toilet seat with just a light from my phone, being like, I can't fucking see. I can't see what I'm doing. And there was light from outside, like the room, like and obviously through the window. So then under the line of the door, you can see like shadows of people walking past. I'm like, holy fuck, man, the place in darkness. So I was like, what the fuck did I do? So it turns out that when you open the bathroom door, obviously it triggers movement and the light goes on again. So twice the light was off and on again. So I'm like opening the door halfway through, like light on, light off, light on. Like I was like, holy fuck, man. So I'd done my business. And then, gave her a holler, phoned 89488. It says the call cannot be connected. I thought, oh, you're fucking kidding me on. So finally got through to her, and it turns out that is just their office number. So Karen, the poor soul, answered the phone and was just like, hello, and hello, Andology. And I was like, hello, it's Dr. McCabe here. I was just like, holy fuck, they were answering the phone as if like it was like, doctor to a doctor. So I was just like, hi, Karen. I called her by her name. I was like, I don't know why I called her by her name. It's like, hi, Karen. I was like, I'm finished now. Because I didn't know what to say. I was just like, what I do? I've produced my specimen. So she's like, just get yourself, cleaned up, and I'll be along in a few minutes. And I was already cleaned up, so I was sitting there like with the cup, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. So she came in, and she had to finish off the rest of the form. So she said, is it all in there? And I'm like, is all what in there? She's like, all of the stuff in the cup, and I'm just like, yes. And so she said, everything's in the cup. How do you feel? I'm like, feel all right. I was like myself, what do you mean? How do I feel? And then she filled it all in, and I jokingly said, experience 5 out of 5, And I was like, hospitality 3 out of 5. And she just kind of looked at it to say, ha ha ha, so you're a joker, eh? And I was just like, fuck me. So she's just at the cup, and she's just like, right, that's it done now. We'll give you a call in 2 to 3 weeks time. So I walked out, and I'm just like, thank you, Karen, bye. I don't know why I kept calling her name. So I walked out, and it was like kind of off you pop. So I walked out, and as I was walking towards the left, I was like, fuck me, that was traumatizing. And at that point, a young nurse walked out behind me. Right. So she heard me saying, oh, fuck me, that was traumatizing. I then walked into the lift. She came in the lift behind me. So we're both like, she knows what I've just done. I know where she works. And we sat down, went into the lift, pressed 0. And obviously, I'm very awkward with people sometimes. So I'm just like, I just turned and looked at her. I smiled. I was like, so how's your day been? And she's like, good. How are you? I'm like, I'm all right. Because I was like, myself, she knows what I've just done there. It was just so like, I mean, Steve's got himself, Stephen Dammer got himself, honestly.
That's the difference between you and me, right? You would have that situation, and like you'd probably never see that young nurse again, right? Me in that situation, I work in a hospital. There's a 99% chance I'm going to see that nurse nearly every single day of my life.
Yeah, like that's
If I'm taking a lift, so like I'd be in a lot worse.
I mean, unless shit hits the fan, I have to go back again, like she said, because
Aye.
you've been here before. I was like, I should probably get a fucking season ticket. But it was just so awkward. So yeah, that's the rest. That's the end of the spunk story. So other than that, I had a good day because after that, I know after that I got a Greg's. So I came and got a Greg's. Fantastic! What a great day.
Win-win.
Win-win. So yeah, I'll find out in 2 to 3 weeks whether my my stuff is okay. But yeah. What a day. What a day.
What a day. What a story to kick off a podcast.
I know. So yeah, let's get down to the dirty stuff. So let's talk about our childhood now. I don't know how I'm going to format this. We're just going to talk and see what happens. So yeah, let's talk about some nostalgic TV shows that we grew up and watched and loved. Like I said, anyone who's watching, if anyone, comment down below. So yeah, so my number one TV show of all time that I watched when I was a kid was Power Rangers. Every year they brought out, well, after the 3 seasons of Mighty Morphin, they brought out like a whole new version of Power Rangers. And I just loved it. I mean, I've got my, Jason, the Red Power Ranger shrine over there. I should have worn my Power Rangers hat actually, but I never. Silly bastard I am. I love Power Rangers. Obviously, Matty, you're a little bit younger than me. Do you remember when Power Rangers first started? No, you won't. I was
a mere thought at the time before when Power Rangers started, but
yeah,
I do remember watching a lot of Power Rangers when I was wee as well.
What was your? So my first viewing of Power Rangers was the Mighty Morphin team. But it was reruns in it was either maybe 1994, 1995 when the movie came out. They reran all the TV shows, obviously. Love the film, by the way. The OG film is fantastic. So do you know I actually watched that to a point where the videotape actually broke? I was gutted. I broke it, and it got to a point where it all sold out, and it never produced. Fuck me. They never re-released a copy of the video until the Turbo sequel movie in 1997. Yeah. It was like a box set, so I was so fucking gutted. But I remember watching Mighty Morphin from the either series 2 or series 3, and then obviously they reran it all for the movie. So what was your kind of first introduction to Power Rangers?
I think my first introduction would probably have been Mighty Morphin, like same sort of case where it was like reruns. But I was one of those children up until the early 2000s that was stuck with channels 1 to 5, and that was your whack. I didn't have cable or satellite or anything like that, so it's not like I could sit in. So like we get it like maybe once or twice a week at most, and you'd have to get up like crack of dawn on a Saturday morning to actually catch into good gear.
Brilliant. It was ITV or ST, whatever the ITV thing was. It was STV or ITV, whatever region you're in. Yeah, I remember.
Sometimes it was Channel 4 as well. Sometimes you get it like on during the week. Like you get it if you're in early enough. You get like all the cartoons. But I think the first sort of Power Rangers that I actually. Well, I like obviously Mighty Morphin's like god tier compared to the rest of them in my eyes, because that's where it all started.
Yeah, of course.
But the first one that I think I sat down and I religiously watched the whole way through the full season would have been either Wild Force or Ninja Storm, because that was round about like I was maybe 10, 12-ish, round about that time, I think.
How old are you again compared to me?
I'm 28.
28. So
I've only just turned 28. I mean, maybe older than that.
About 4 year, 3 year apart, or 4 year apart. 3 year apart. So when you started watching Power Rangers religiously, I was just finishing, because I think Ninja Storm was like my last kind of like from start to finish.
Ninja Storm and Dino Thunder. Dino Thunder was the last one that I watched.
I watched bits of that as well.
Because I really liked Dino Thunder just purely because there was dinosaurs in it, and win-win.
Yeah, of course.
but I did like I watched a couple of the ones. It wasn't until like later on that I watched a few. I went back and watched a few because I remember getting like I don't know if you remember the Jetix like channel before. I think it was like Fox Kids, like what they changed into. They used to put out like a DVD with their magazine, and when we used to go to the caravan, my gran would always religiously make sure we got one of these, and it'd come with a DVD of like an episode of Power Rangers, an episode of like one of the random cartoons that they had on, and something new. And but Power Rangers was always on it, and they always used to put on like old seasons on it as well. So they put on Lost Galaxy.
Oh, Lost Galaxy was Lost Galaxy is the first of the non-Zordon era.
Yeah.
I love that.
Because I hadn't really like I hadn't heard, like watched like Power Rangers in space or anything like that before. But like I watched Lost Galaxy and I was watching the first episode and I was like, their armor is suspiciously familiar. And then I was like, hold on, Starship Troopers.
Did you think that as well? Yeah,
I picked it up when I was really young. Like, I was like, it was the first time I actually noticed something outside of a TV series that connected to something else. Like it was clearly just a prop used for something else.
Yeah, you used the props. That's insane. That
I know.
Do you remember?
That was the first. That was my first sort of like physical like interpretation of Power Rangers. Was like I wanted to sit down and watch. Was like starting from Wild Force all the way up to Dino Thunder. Those three series I watched every single episode of, and then after that I just kind of fell away from it because I really wasn't that interested in SPD. Not that it was bad. It was just one of them ones I couldn't really. It wasn't really gripping me as much as the other ones were.
That's fair enough. See, like when me growing up, we got Sky TV quite early on. Like maybe got it in like the late 90s, I think it was, maybe like 96, 97. So I obviously straight away off the bat had like Cartoon Network with, Ed, Edd and Eddy, Ed, Edd and Eddy, Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Laboratory.
Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo. Oh, Johnny Bravo was so good. Oh, mama. And we had Fox Kids. So we had like the pre-Jetix. We had Fox Kids. And waking up, like you said, on Saturday morning, having Fox Kids, obviously all Power Rangers, all, like they had Power Rangers, VR Troopers, Beetleborgs, Masked Rider. Do you know all they ones? All they kind of Power Rangers-esque spin-offs. Like, I loved watching all them. They're fantastic. It really was like that. Like, seeing people say like Saturday morning TV was like your childhood. Like, yeah, that was my childhood. Yeah. Like everyone was out playing games and playing with football, and I'm just like, nah, man, let's fucking watch Power Rangers and VR Troopers and Beetleborgs. Like that is amazing. That's my childhood. Play with action figures. I played with action figures until I was about fucking 15-year-old, and I just forgot this is going out live. Oh dear. Shit. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, Fox Kids was fantastic because obviously Fox Kids also introduced me to an extended version of like Goosebumps. Like when I first watched Goosebumps, it was on CBBC, and I think either they lost their rights or something happened, and then Fox Kids got it, and all of a sudden Fox Kids had it on like nearly every hour, like an episode every hour. It was so good. Like I love Goosebumps. Like I don't mind the new film with Jack Black. I thought the first one was pretty good. The second one I've not watched it because I don't know. I've not really got that. The first one was good, but if you're going to watch Goosebumps, boys and girls out there, go back to the old TV show.
Yeah,
like the old TV show is fucking-tastic. It's so
for a kid
good.
show. It's really creepy as well,
and it's it's brutal. Like it is petrifying. Like even to now, you're just like fucking shit. I forgot that's a costume. Like it's just there's some stuff in it. You're just like you forget there were costumes. You're like that's fucking really good. Like what was there was even the werewolf one, Saber. Like it was the werewolf one in the camp, and that was petrifying. Like that's and then also you had like Slappy, the Night of the Living Dummy.
Oh
fuck! He was basically like a PG Chucky, but he was still as creepy as Chucky. He just didn't kill
people.
One
of the things when we were like in school, we would be reading the Goosebumps books, and then at the very end of reading it, we'd watch the actual episode as well, because our teacher was sound as fuck. Because that was like primary 4, primary 5. So we'd watch like Night of the Living Mummy or Dummy, sorry, and read the whole way through to the end of it, then watch it. And then we compared the book to the movie and all that. And it was like our very early version of this, essentially, like doing a re-review of but at a young age. I used to love those lessons, but everybody else was like, "Oh, this is just too much work. Why would we do it? Why would we have to read it if we're going to watch it?" And I was like, "Because source material, for fuck's sake, come on, we need to compare it to something." But I like Goosebumps and Grizzly Tales for Gruesome Kids. Did you ever watch that?
No, I'll never watch Goosebumps. And
that was like
Are You Afraid of the Dark?
That was like the ITV version of Goosebumps. It was like the same sort of Grizzly Tales for Gruesome Kids.
Was it cartoon?
Cartoon, but the start of it was like stop motion with the wee guy in the
stop motion. Yes, I remember that.
The old guy in the cinema.
That was creepy. The stop motion was insane in that thing. Yeah, I remember that. Actually, I do remember that because the ones I really did watch was, like I said, Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark with the Midnight Gang or something, like the Midnight Group.
Aye, I know who you're talking about, but I don't know if that's
because I think was it Ryan Gosling was a character in that at one point or something. Something mental like it was either I think it was Ryan Gosling was an actor in Are You Afraid of the Dark? I forgot how old that show actually is. It's like the mid-90s. I thought it was like 2000. I didn't think it was that old. It's like mid-90s.
There's loads of people now that are famous that were in like really old.
That started off in TV shows. Yeah,
like Selena Gomez was in Barney the Dinosaur, for Christ's sake. Like
I know.
That's how old that thing's.
Yeah, and you got all the Disney kids, but let's not go into that because that's my side. Let's not go into that. Although I'll admit though, Zac Efron's doing really well for himself.
He is.
That man's doing. I like that guy. I want to see him join the MCU, specifically as Johnny Storm, the new Human Torch.
Yeah,
we'll save that. Literally,
we'll save some fantastic talk for our future episode. Let's say, right?
Oh, little teaser, Matty, getting my nipples hard.
That's how you get them. But talking about Fox Kids, like that's where I got introduced to one of the best my first introductions to anime, which was Digimon.
Yeah.
Which
I was more
Pokemon had been around for a while, but Digimon was where like I kind of got drawn right into it because like I'm a big fan of dinosaurs and dinosaurs that fight and free fire, like can't beat it. But like I remember there wasn't like physical fights, but you used to get into proper arguments about which one was better in school and all that, and everybody used to be on Pokemon side, and I'm like, come on. Like the Digimon had a movie about saving the fucking internet. Like that's
No, I'll admit though, like I was the Pokemon era. So when Digimon came out, I enjoyed it, but
you could tell it was a bit of a.
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say it was a kind of sort of rip-off of Pokemon because everything's a rip-off of everything. So, like I said, look, Power Rangers, and then obviously had VR Troopers and Beetleborgs and Masked Rider. Obviously, they were all done by Saban, so they were essentially spiritual spin-offs or whatever. But they all feel like miniature rip-offs of Power Rangers because it's if like let's just. It was this kind of thing of we've got Power Rangers, it's a massive success, let's make another thing. So he kind of ripped off his own brand. So it's quite funny. But no, I know what you're saying. No, it wasn't essentially a rip-off, but it did feel too Pokemon-y.
Aye.
But it kind of I mean, like Pokemon's been about for like what 30 years, 25 years, 30 years.
At least
it's went through different phases. So when Digimon came out, Pokemon was at the kind of end of like the first phase of Pokemon. Like it was kind of dying down. Like they'd done a few movies, and then Digimon came out of nowhere, and then Digimon kind of took over. But then Pokemon all of a sudden made like 30 other movies because they're just like, fuck you, we'll take over again. But no, Fox Kids was the place. Fox Kids, Nickelodeon with Kenan Kel, Drake and Josh, like
Cartoon
and
Network.
then obviously Cartoon Network. They were the places to go to, like Dexter's Laboratory. Like, how big was Dexter's mum's arse, by the way? Like, the animation was unreal. Like, why is it? Because you remember, like, people have done memes about Pixar's, like, mums. Why are all the mums get big arses? Like, they're obviously, like, compensating for something. They're obviously trying to give the dads taking the kids to cinema to be like, don't worry, guys, we've got you sorted. Here's a big bum mum. It's mental. But no, Dexter's Laboratory was fantastic. Like Dee Dee, it was so like I never. Do you know what's funny though? Growing up, I never understood why Dexter had like a kind of German-ish accent, and everyone else had like they were all American. I don't get it, and I've never actually looked into like Dexter, so I don't know if he was he adopted or was he just a mad scientist, a mad kind of German scientist?
I think there's a fan theory about it.
What's the fan theory?
Something about along the lines of how Dexter has to keep his lab a secret the whole time, and it's because like he had an experiment and it ended up killing his real dad. So like that's why his mum doesn't want him doing like lab experiments in the house, and Dee Dee's like his stepsister, and like her dad is like his stepdad. So that's why he's always
that's a weird theory.
It goes into detail about it. That's like the overview of it, but it makes kind of sense because like he's always trying to hide these science experiments and all that stuff to his mom. But
true, a weird thing. Speaking of Nickelodeon, did you ever watch Kenan Kel?
Yes.
I love Kenan Kel. I still watch Kenan Kel. Like I love.
I mind when they showed up in the Rocky and Bullwinkle movie.
Yeah. Brilliant. Like Kenan and Kel are like iconic. They are like they define the 90s, like pop culture, kids humor. Like this, I can still relate to them. Like when I look at Kenan and Kel, that's essentially me, and I've got like so many best friends. Like me and my other best friend, James. Like that's me and him. I'm Kenan and he's Kel. Like I think I've got the brains, and I think I can master shit. And he's just like, fuck it, let's just drink some orange soda, or in his case, let's drink some beer. Like it's I love Kenan and Kel. Like I still watch it. I watched it the other night because I love Kenan and Kel. Do I laugh at it still? I don't laugh at it as much as what I did, but I still enjoy it. Do you ever remember I know obviously we're going to do movies in a few weeks' time, but we'll just go on a side project here. Do you ever remember their movie Good Burger?
I've seen stuff from it, but I've never actually seen the movie.
It's basically Kenan and Kel working in McDonald's, like a fictional McDonald's, and it's called Good Burger. And Kel's just, they're not Kel, they're called like Dexter and Kenan plays Dexter and Kel plays I can't remember what Kel's called again. They're different names. I found it kind of baffling because I was watching Kenan and Kel, and all of a sudden I'm watching these two. I'm like, that's Kenan and Kel, and it's like, no, it's not. It's Dexter and whatever. Dexter Reed was Kenan, and Kel was fuck. I can't remember what Kel's called. I'll remember. I'll end up talking about something. I'll be like, that's his name. So like Kel would be like, welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? That sounds, that's a terrible impression. But that was their thing. Their thing was they had to say, welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order? And they were in the threat of getting shut down because a new burger chain across the road opened. It was called Mondo Burger, and it's just funny. It's just so dumb, but it's just you need to watch it. It's on Amazon Prime. I think it's either on Netflix for free or Amazon Prime for like $3.99. Like it's so cheap. Like it's brilliant.
It's one of the ones. It's on one of my many lists of movies people tell me to watch, but I never get around to. That and Don't Be a Menace. That's on my Don't Be a Menace too.
Oh, the
Brothers,
Wayne's Brothers.
I've seen bits of that, but it's just I've never really. I think it's maybe because I'm past the stage of seeing when Scary Movie was funny. Like maybe I think that came out around about the same time, and it was just like. I don't really get it now. Like it's not not funny, it is, but it's not. I don't think it's going to hit me as hard as the way Scary Movie hit me when I was wee and I watched that and I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Scary Movie is one of those parody films that I don't want to exactly say it stands the test of time like Airplane and The Naked Gun, etc. But it was a good little kind of Hot Shots Part 2. I love Hot Shots, but especially Hot Shots Part 2, the Rambo one. But I think with Scary Movie, it kind of smoothly done that transition from like, you know, your parody, spoof parodies of the 80s and 90s, but then made them R-rated, crude, and it actually worked. And I'm going to burp, sorry, I don't want to burp on the mic. Sorry. And it was brilliant. But the thing is, though, I think it's one of those kind of things where Scary Movie works for its time. I still love it now, the first two anyway. But if they made, I was always saying, like, why have they never made like a new one? Why have they never done like, you know, a new like 20th anniversary movie or something? It's just because I don't think it'd work now. They would try and wash it down and make it a 12A or make it a 15. Because I remember when 3 and 4 came out, and then 5, they're all 15s, they're all tamed. They never said fuck because it was all nice and, you know, family friendly. Let's get the kids in because, you know, Shorty had became an icon with kids. All the films became like, you know, family friendly. If you made Scary Movie now, it'd be a PG, it'd be a kids movie. So it'd be too stupid. So it wouldn't work. I would love it, but it wouldn't work. It's like the Carry On films. The Carry On films are one of those things that they're a British institution that worked in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. But if you made them now, as much as I'd love to see a new Carry On film with the new talent of, you know, the British actors and actresses and comedians, etc., it's been attempted for the last 15 years, but it just never works. I'd love to see a new Carry On film, but then when you watch the old ones and think you couldn't do that now, you couldn't have Barbara Windsor running about with her tits out in a PG. Yeah. You couldn't have that. You couldn't have Sid James being that pervy. You know, like when you look at them, you think, how are they PGs? You couldn't do that nowadays. It'd be an 18, it'd be R-rated, it'd be an 18, it'd be like a porno, basically like a British soft porn movie. So that's with Scary Movie. They're the exact same thing. You couldn't do them nowadays. But like I said, we're not here to talk about movies. We could talk about we could do a breakdown of the Scary Movie franchise at some point. Let's do that. Why not? Fuck it. Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon was good because Nickelodeon had Sabrina the Teenage Witch, I think. Yeah.
Oh, Sabrina.
Do you remember that? Melissa Joan Hart. Like, I love Sabrina. It was a great show, that.
Oh, it was.
I've not watched the new Netflix one because I just don't want to. I
watched the first season of it. The first season's actually really good. Like,
Steve says it's fantastic, but I just don't. I don't know what it is. So because I think I've always just known Sabrina as that, you know, kind of lightheartedness and all that kind of stuff. Whereas this only
thing I don't like about the Netflix show is the fact that the cat Salem doesn't talk. That's the only thing I don't like about it. Like, because I'm just that used to having a sassy wee cat.
Oh, I get that.
But apart from that, it is quite good. But it takes off more along the lines of the comic books. Because know how the Archie comics or Riverdale, it's the same sort of universe as Riverdale. So
I've still never watched Riverdale.
Never. Like, no interest in it.
Everyone tells me, "Oh, it's good," because obviously the Spouse brothers, Cody, one of them anyway. Like Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, one of the brothers is in this. Is it Spouse, Cody Spouse, or whatever it is? But anyway,
Jughead.
What?
Jughead is the character that he plays.
Yeah, so as one of the Zack and Cody boys. But I don't know. I don't know. I'll maybe watch at some point, but it's just, I don't know. Speaking of Zack, did you ever watch Sweet Life of Zack and Cody?
I used to watch like wee bits of it, like because it would occasionally show up on CITV from time to time. So I'd watch random episodes, but one of them kind of slipped past me like that, and Wizards of Waverly Place, that one.
I loved that. It's my younger brother Matthew. Nickelodeon wise, I watched Kenan Kel, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I think there was one or two more, but I can't remember. But then when they finished and they brought out Drake and Josh as like the kind of next generation.
Drake and Josh is one that I've always kind of wanted to watch, but I can never find it.
Fantastic. Like Drake and Josh is great. How I look at it is Drake and Josh are, and I'm not being racist, they're the white Kenan Kel.
Aye.
It's the same setup. You've got the kind of fat one, and then the skinny one. So in Kenan Kel, the fat one, Kenan, he was like the kind of brains of the operation, but he was still quite stupid and still messed up as much as Kel did. Kel was obviously the dumb one. Drake and Josh, Drake was the kind of, I think they both are kind of like smart-ish, but they're still, you know,
In their own different ways.
Yeah, they kind of mixed and matched it. But yeah, I think it's the same guy who created Kenan Kel, Dan Schneider or Dan something. He was the same creator. Drake and Josh was fantastic. So when Matthew was growing up, his thing was Drake and Josh, Zach and Cody, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, and then Wizards of Waverly Place. And they were unknown iCarly as well. Like that's what I'm saying, like girls shows, but they were brilliant. Like guys could still watch it and like sort of relate to the show because it was like, you know, I liked all these shows. Like I never watched a show and was just like, oh, that's girly. Like Powerpuff Girls. Like I watched that when I was younger, and I still watched it up to like, I don't know. Like I think I just watched the cartoon movie because of the movie I didn't realize only about maybe 5 years ago, and I was like, this is pretty good actually. And I'm definitely on the fence with this new live action Powerpuff Girls TV show or whatever it is with CW. Like it's just very weird.
Yes,
because it's the Powerpuff Girls, the kids that we remember, you know, we loved when they were young. They're 6 years old, 8 years old, and now they're like teenage, or they're now in their like their 20s, and they're now like, you know, having sex and all that kind of stuff. I'm just like, that's really weird. That's like watching like your neighbor growing up and then being like picking her up at a party when she's 18. I'm just like, Christ, I remember when you were 6. That's just weird. Like I can't. Not that that's ever happened, by the way. Let's just clarify that before anything happens. I've never done it before. I don't even drive. But yeah. So it's just weird watching the like icons as kids being like, you know, in their 20s and being like, what was that?
Ghosts.
I just seen something kind of float behind you. That was fucking weird. What was that?
My soundproofing. It's falling off the walls.
You've got soundproof. You've got soundproof.
I'm trying to. I'm starting it. I've started in that corner and I'm working my way across, but it's not.
Does that shit work really?
No, it works a wee bit, but I'm getting it for free, so I can't complain.
That's fair enough. But yeah, Powerpuff Girls. We'll move on now.
Back to cartoons, and kind of related to your hat, all the Marvel cartoons.
Oh yeah.
X-Men, Hulk, Iron Man, Spidey, Fantastic Four. I think that's all of them.
Do you know what's funny? I never watched Iron Man or Fantastic Four. I watched the X-Men one, the Spider-Man one, and the Silver Surfer one.
Oh, Silver Surfer! Forgot about Silver Surfer.
Yeah. Everyone seems to forget that one. Like that started in like I think it's like 1998, 1999. I remember being like when it first was on TV, and I'm just like, what the fuck's this? And that's so cool. Like, don't get me wrong, like, see if I was to watch it, if I was to stick on any of them right now, I'd stick on the X-Men cartoon.
X-Men's
more so that it's getting a continuation. Obviously, they're getting a continuation plus. Like that music, that's been my ringtone. I had that as my ringtone for a while. Like it's just so good. And obviously, you know, well, not exactly spoilers now, but in Doctor Strange 2, when, you know, Professor Charles Xavier is introduced in the 90s iconic wheelchair, I'm like, oh my god, we knew he's in the film, but to see him in the wheelchair and have that little hint of the X-Men 90s theme tune, I'm just like, Kevin Feige, you've fucking done it. Yes,
that was fantastic. That bit, like,
that was fantastic.
That's for a different time talking about that movie.
Yeah, but yeah, I love
all of them. Like, all those shows had pure kick-ass theme tunes, though. Like,
oh, brilliant!
Even the Iron Man one, like there was two different kinds. See, I'm sure it's on Disney Plus, but it's like proper 90s/80s nostalgia, because it's like one of them is like him working in like the Iron Man forge, like building his Iron Man suit, and he's got a mullet and all that, and he looks fantastic. Like the Fantastic Four one, that was one that I've always loved. The Fantastic Four. That's the reason I got back into comics. Was like I ended up seeing W.H. Smith's. That was like Fantastic Four and Spider-Man, like one of them omnibus sort of. So that's how I got back into comics, and I've still got that comic somewhere in my big box of shit. But so I've always loved the Fantastic Four, and like Silver Surfer was one of them ones I watched a lot, but it's not one that's kind of always kind of obviously because I've already forgotten about it, but it was never one that kind of stuck with me. And the Hulk one was kind of like a wee bit like the TV show
the
as well.
Hulk one.
And then they eventually introduced She-Hulk into it as well, which that was just fantastic.
I know how ironic is now that the She-Hulk is coming to the MCU. Have you watched the trailer, by the way?
I have mixed opinions.
I thought it was quite good.
I think the trailer looks amazing. I do agree with people where the CGI looks a wee bit spotty, but I'm sure like it'll look better in the show.
Yeah.
Like
I think it'll look good. I mean, I think right now, I think Marvel are getting a slightly bad rap all of a sudden. And I don't know what it is, but fans have all of a sudden started to kind of turn on Marvel. Now, I don't know if it's because it's becoming a little bit repetitive, or because I've seen people commenting saying like Phase 4, where's Phase 4 going? There's no like path. Like Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3 all had a path to X, Y, Z. Whereas Phase 4 has no path. But what I love about Phase 4 currently is they're just introducing new people and just being like, right, let's see what works. There will be a path, obviously, with the end of Doctor Strange 2. There's a path certainly for Doctor Strange to go on for a third film, or like possibly push it open to a wider audience. We do know obviously the multiverse is a big factor, and are just kind of playing with it now. But there's more to come, because obviously there's the Secret Invasion. There's more to come with the multiverse. And I think that's what's going to be the be all end all of the Phase 4 era. But it's just the fact that it's the getting there that's kind of worrying people.
I think it's
what I mean.
It's kind of like there is a path in sight.
Yeah,
but it's just not as obvious as it was in the past 3 phases. It's like there is some everything so far has obviously been linked by magic somehow. So that's going to be a part of it, but it'll be like a couple of years. They'll reveal what the end game sort of get it. But you get what the point is to it all, and then everything will click, and we're like, hold on, how did we miss that? So like I'm on the side of they're in good hands. They've got Kevin Feige still. Like
exactly.
The guy clearly knows what he's doing.
The fact that Kevin Feige has confirmed that the next 10 years is mapped out, you're just like, mate, you're a fucking legend.
Yeah,
you're a legend. Just briefly speaking about Marvel, obviously we'll go back to our TV shows and our nostalgia trip. Have you seen the latest news that Disney and Marvel have purchased the rights for Stan Lee's likeness, all that kind of stuff, for the next 20 years?
No.
So they've purchased, it's just only come out today. So they've purchased the rights to Stan Lee's likeness and all that kind of stuff, right? His voice, his likeness, for the next 20 years. And they're going to reinsert him into future Marvel TV shows, movies, games, whatever they're doing, obviously. But this is where it kind of, I'm on the fence with. I spoke to Steve and Dan about it. I think Steve was the only one that actually kind of commented on it. I like it, but I'm on the fence, because for one side, he's dead. And for what we saw from him from the last, 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years, especially more the kind of MCU era, obviously for the last 10, 12 years, it's been fantastic. It's been brilliant. It's been really, it's been great. And then revisiting those moments, you're just like, oh, fucking Stan Lee. But to then they're using it through like archive footage, CGI, all that kind of stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, CGI characters in Marvel seem to really go down a treat. Fair enough, the backlash with She-Hulk, etc. But they still do well with CGI. And I think when it comes to like real people, like they can easily, get people to kind of stand in and just, fuck about with, facial expressions and that kind of stuff through CGI. So I don't mind that. But it's kind of one of those things where it's like I said, he's dead and we've got the legacies left us. So I don't know. I think maybe if they're going to have him stay in the MCU or whatever they're going to do, just keep it on like, pictures and posters or, that kind of stuff. I don't know if I want to see him physically there.
Yeah.
If it's not, because then it's not him as such. It's still.
Then if they do it with him, then they'll be talking about doing it with Chadwick as well, and then you're just like,
yeah,
do we really?
I know. I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a different situation between him and Chadwick.
No, aye.
Because obviously Stan Lee's like he's the leader of Marvel.
He's a creator.
But he's a creator, he's a leader, he's a boss, he's a man, he's Stan the Man Lee. But Excelsior. But I don't know if I want to see him, reborn essentially through digital graphics or something. I think maybe we should have them like, like a news article, of Stan Lee or a poster or an image or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm on the fence with it. I'll do a video I'm going to do a video tomorrow on it. But
DC side as well, like because like George Perez and Neil Adams have both passed away in the last month.
Yeah.
And like obviously, I'm not saying they're not as big characters as Stan Lee. Stan Lee was his own character. You can't really compare him to anybody else when it comes to comics. But they were really big contributors to DC, and they paved the way in different styles. So it means like if you're doing it with Stan Lee, then it does. I'd like your sort of idea of like keeping his likeness around, as in like posters and like background images sort of thing. I probably wouldn't be a fan of. Oh, there, Rural. He's in the chat.
Rural, Jordan, hi, Rural. How are you? Obviously, we're talking about nostalgic TV shows we grew up with. Not that I'm going to give out your age, but you are a little bit older than us. So comment in the live chat below, like what is your TV shows of your childhood, all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. Obviously, we're talking about TV shows, but if you want to throw in a few movies, you go ahead, mate, and you do it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate that. I really do. Our, transatlantic friends from America. Love it. Thanks, Rural. So, yeah, no, I get what you're saying, Matty. I understand, like, it is what it is, but it's just, I'm going to do a kind of deeper video tomorrow, but I don't know. I like it, but I don't like it. Because even if, like, we had, I don't know, one of the MCU characters being like, oh, here's a picture of me and my granddad in the Photoshop, like him in with Stan Lee. You'd be like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like things like that. I don't know. See what happens. So, but yeah.
I opened up the last bunch of. I was the last one to mention anything off my list, so I think it's your shot.
My turn. My germs. I don't know, because like I said, I mean, you can go down TV show, you can go down cartoon wise or TV show wise. Like if we're going to go into TV show wise, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, like that was a great show. Loved that. I mean, I've not watched the new one, the new kind of drama reboot thing.
I've heard good things.
I've heard it's pretty good actually. I've just not watched. I just not had time to watch it because I'm watching everything else right now. I started that Ted Lasso.
I've still not got into watching that either. I've heard it's really good.
It's brilliant. It's actually brilliant. Like Jason Sudeikis is so good. It's so good. I don't want to say it, but it's so good. Like it's like a fish out of water. Like he's been taken out of his area and brought into like uncharted territories. It's so good. Saved by the Bell, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like I love all these shows. They were great growing up. Again, I've not watched the new Saved by the Bell, whatever that is, whatever reboot that is now. I don't know. But I don't know. It's one of the things where like certain shows I'll watch a reboot of, but then there's certain shows I'm just like, it's not the same. I don't want to chance it in case it ruins the legacy of the old things. But I have heard that both Fresh Prince and Saved by the Bell, the new versions, the legacy sequels, the reboots, whatever you want to call them, they are good. They bring back that nostalgia trip. Oh, brilliant! So Rural has said TV shows when I was a kid: Battlestar Galactica and Buck Rogers. Battlestar Galactica, I actually remember watching that. I was reruns during the 90s. So let me paint a picture. So Rural love this. Obviously, this is the British side of Battlestar Galactica. So growing up in the 90s. We had BBC Two. After BBC One, after CBBC was finished, then went to the Weakest Link. And then on BBC Two, it went over to, we had reruns of Doctor Who, the John Pertwee era. That's where I first saw Doctor Who, was the John Pertwee era. And the very first time the Doctor was in colour. And then we had The Simpsons. And then we had The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And then occasionally, I think it was like every second night or something, we had an episode of Battlestar Galactica, the 70s show. I loved Battlestar Galactica. I loved the new one, the new version, the new, reboot, whatever it wants to be, was fantastic as well. Like, I loved the new version, but nothing beats the original one. The original Battlestar Galactica had that thing like Star Trek, like shaky sets and that kind of stuff. Like just, everything was all prosthetic makeup. It was brilliant. Like I remember watching Battlestar Galactica growing up in the 90s. Buck Rogers, I never watched Buck Rogers. I must admit, I
I think that was one of the ones that it didn't really come over here. Like,
no,
unless it did, but it wasn't as big. Sort of
yeah,
thing,
it was about. But I think by the time Buck Rogers and even Battlestar Galactica, when it came out in the 70s, like everyone was just like Star Trek, reruns of Star Trek. And then obviously we had Doctor Who as well. So like what was your Battlestar Galactica and Buck Rogers was our Doctor Who? Like we had Doctor Who. But no, Buck Rogers, I remember it being rerun on the Sci-Fi Channel in the early years of Sky TV, like the Sci-Fi Channel. Buck Rogers was on there. In between the 1994 RoboCop family-friendly TV show. But yeah, I remember the Looney Tunes done a spoof of Buck Rogers, and it was Daffy Duck, and it was Duck Rogers.
Fantastic.
It was fantastic. Was that
Duck Dodgers?
Duck Rogers. It was something like Duck Rogers in the 24th and a half century. It was so funny, but like I said, I'm not I don't remember Buck Rogers as much. I remember seeing it like briefly in Sci-Fi Channel.
Although that's kind of just triggered a memory for me of the $6 million man.
Oh, here we go. We're going. So now Rural love this. We're going back even further to his era. He just quickly says so. Yep, loves the BSG reimagined. Yeah, the Battlestar Galactica reimagining was so good. Like the Cylons. It was so good. It was. You know what it was? So it was that kind of 2005, 2006, like sexy sci-fi. Like you had the blonde robot. I don't know what she's called again. You had her, Trisha Heffler or something like she was called. Or what was she called? You had her. It was all nice and it was all dead sexy. It was like a sexy sci-fi that appealed to a lot of young teens, such as myself. So, but then when you actually watch it as a TV show, you're like, "That's a fucking good TV show." I loved it. I've actually still got the Battlestar Galactica, the new version, big box set. So, William, is it? I can't remember the actor, but I know the character is it William Adama. I don't know. I can't remember his name. Fuck it. I also got Doctor Who. Tom Baker. All right, cool. So, see, that's what I'm saying. I don't actually know if did the Americans get Doctor Who the way we get Doctor Who then, Rural? Tom Baker for you, I take it you're saying, yeah. Yeah, I love Tom Baker. Like I said, so when I first watched Doctor Who in the 90s through reruns after Fresh Prince and The Simpsons, etc., we started off with the John Pertwee era, which was basically John Pertwee on Earth. Like, because obviously, like budgetary wise, they stuck it on Earth. It was actually really good, actually. They then moved on to Tom Baker, and I think I just started watching because I think then we got Sky. And on UK Gold, they had like reruns of Doctor Who, but they had all the shows. They had like all like Doctor Who back in the day was like 20-minute, like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, like 10-part story over 20 minutes. And they'd done like one big massive like Doctor Who omnibus. It's like on ITV4, they have like Coronation Street omnibus or Emmerdale's omnibus. They had Doctor Who omnibus. It was like 3 hours of Doctor Who on a Sunday. So it was like all the Sylvester McCoy like storylines, and they maybe had, like I loved all that. So that's when I got into Doctor Who even more. And then obviously I started buying DVDs and videos. The blonde Cylon, number 6. Yes, that's it. Yeah. She was fucking smoking hot. Damn. Like she made that show sexy. But yeah, so I always thought that Doctor Who in America was not a thing until the new Who era. I didn't know that you guys had I didn't know the Americans had Doctor Who like that to that extent until like the new Who era. Obviously, Doctor Who has exploded even more in America now with the new era of Doctor Who, but I didn't realize it was that like a big a deal in America back in the day. That's quite cool. That's rock on. Yeah, so I'm lost what I was going to say there. Do you want to move on to? Sorry, so we've covered like the X-Men cartoon, like the Marvel cartoons, like, and then we've got like CBBC, like you had Grange Hill, Biker Grove, Blue Peter, like
all these shows nobody in America is going to understand.
Oh yeah. So rural. This is for the British fans only. I don't know if you'll know of Blue Peter, Grange Hill.
Blue Peter, Biker Grove. Like that's quite a big thing.
Blue Peter, I would say, yeah, that's probably you probably get Blue Peter. Biker Grove. Biker Grove. Yeah.
Yeah, Biker Grove's going to be a deep cut one if they actually get that.
Well, basically, in a nutshell, if like the Americans know about Ant and Dec, so that was when Ant and Dec first started in Biker Grove. Yeah, that's it. That's all you need to say. So for anyone who doesn't know what Biker Grove is, it was Ant and Dec's first TV show. Doctor Who, when I was in my late teens, was on public TV channels, not network. Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, fair enough. That's quite good, actually. So they didn't even need to pay for it extra.
Do we have public TV channels over here, or is it just are they all just network ones?
I think public TV is that like our BBC 1 to 5 technically?
No idea.
So. I would say that's public access TV. I think I don't know.
I guess so. I mean, technically, Freeview is public access now.
Yeah, because let's say public TV is essentially like terrestrial channels like BBC 1 to 5.
Yeah.
Or like you said, Freeview, because obviously Freeview channels now became like one with like since we went all
that's what they sell with tellies now. Like it's just
it's essential. So
built in Freeview.
Yeah. I know. Do you remember back in the day when you actually had to buy Freeview?
Aye, I seen it
Freeview was like $7.99 a month or something like that.
What was that?
And now it's there.
I didn't think they still did this, but like, see on Facebook Marketplace and freebies, I seen someone asking for a Freeview box the other day, and I was like, I don't think they were still a thing.
Yeah, they still have Freeview boxes. I mean, if you don't have a updated TV,
I know, but that's the thing. Like, it's been that long since I've had a telly that's needed one.
Back when I was growing up, this is going like back to like the early 2000s. Because when we moved from Houston, we moved to Johnston, couldn't get Sky, so our next best thing was Freeview. So, and there was like a Freeview box, the wee box, and I had a thing called Top Up TV.
Aye,
Christ, man,
that was the dark days.
That was fucking a killer.
Is that the one that you used to always have the card? Like I have a card in it at all times.
That's when I went from. So that's when I like found my real love for Baywatch. So I watched Baywatch in the late 90s on Sunday afternoons, right? And I watched it for... Everyone said when you grow up, you watch it for the tits and the girl in the costumes and the bikinis, etc. I actually genuinely, I'm being honest here, I actually enjoyed the storylines. I know they were cheesy and terrible when you watch them now, but they're still fun. They're still nostalgic, still 80s, 90s, cheesiness done well, I guess. But I loved Baywatch. And then when they stopped showing it on STV or ITV, it then went to UK Gold or Bravo. I think it was Bravo or something like that. So when I got Freeview, they had every day was like they basically try to go through like 10 years of Baywatch every day. So every day, I think when I got to the end of when I got bored of Baywatch, I think I was on like season 5 or 6. But I never realized. So when I was growing up in Houston with Baywatch on Sunday afternoon on ITV or STV, it was a Pamela Anderson era. I didn't realize that she never actually came into Baywatch until like series 2 or 3. I didn't realize it was like a whole other season or 2 before Pamela Anderson, and before the I'll be ready. There's a whole other theme tune. I didn't realize that Baywatch was like there's a Baywatch before Baywatch essentially.
No,
so weird. But yeah, so Top Up TV was great, but it was just so depressing.
Aye, that's like the dark ages of telly.
Yeah, that's the dark ages. And now Freeview's just built in, it just comes with your TV. Rural's saying the telly version of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Do you know what's funny? I watched the TV show, like I tried to watch it. I think it was a 20th anniversary of the original TV show. They brought it back out again on BBC Two, and I didn't like it. I don't know what it is. I didn't like it. I watched a film years ago with Martin Freeman with Bilbo Baggins, or Tim from The Office, the UK Office anyway. And I remember enjoying it back in the day, but when I watched it again recently, I was like, this is a load of shite. I just can't take the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's annoying and all because it actually is a pretty cool concept idea on that kind of stuff, but I just couldn't take to it. Did you ever watch Knight Rider?
I watched a few episodes of it.
I like Knight Rider. I like
the idea of Knight Rider, but I don't think I actually got into it at the time.
I think Knight Rider could do with a good
Looking
kind of
back,
reboot.
it seems like something I would definitely have been into if I'd watched it. I see if it was on regular, I'd probably sit down and make sure I watched it.
I think Knight Rider could do with a reboot because
Like,
it'd work.
I liked what was it, the Dukes of Hazzard, but that was purely because they were mental.
Yeah,
and
that
redneck.
That's funny. I watched bits of the Dukes of Hazzard, but the only Dukes of Hazzard that I actually watched properly from start to finish was the movie with Johnny Knoxville.
I think that's what kind of like I'd seen a couple of episodes before I'd watched the movie, and then I watched the movie and I was like, I need to try and see if I can find some more episodes just to see how loyal this thing is.
The movie's so the movie's like pure R-rated and just sticking fart jokes. It's like American Pie does, Dukes of Hazzard. It's kind of like Starsky and Hutch, like the Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson film. I remember watching.
I never watched Starsky and Hutch. That's one I missed.
I watched the movie with Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson, and I was pissing myself laughing. I love it. It's brilliant. And then when I went back to watch like reruns of the actual old 70s TV show, I didn't realize how proper fucking dark and serious it actually is. There's no laughter at all. Like I didn't realize the movie was a spoof parody kind of thing, but it was kind of done in a kind of way that it was like the kind of love of Starsky and Hutch, but done with humor. And so I was just like, I don't like this, and everyone's just like, nah, it's fucking brilliant. But I'm just like, that's not Starsky and Hutch. I'm trying to tell fucking 40-year-old man that's not Starsky and Hutch, and he's like, yeah, no, that's not Starsky and Hutch. My show is Starsky and Hutch. It's so weird, like it really is weird. Same with the A-Team movie. Like I remember watching the A-Team briefly growing up as well, because I think I found this was like way back like 2008 when I first joined YouTube, but. Like I remember they used to have like full episodes of the A-Team on. Yeah. And I used to sit down and religiously watch it. I thought it was fucking hilarious. Like I never watched it. I watched bits of it because it was either whatever channel on Top Up TV on Freeview back in the day, whatever channel had Baywatch, they had like Night Rider. It was basically all 80s stuff. So they had like the A-Team. And I remember watching bits of it and being like, I liked Mr. T, and I think I just watched all the Rocky films. So when I was watching Rocky 3, Clubber Lang, I was like, oh, that's Mr. T, that's pretty cool. So when I watched bits of the A-Team, I was like, it's all right. But then when I watched the film, I actually liked the film more. And I know that's sacrilege.
But like, understandable.
People died in that film. Like there was actual action in that film.
I think it was more, see, with the A-Team, you'd watch it purely for the one scene where they go into a garage and build something out of nothing. So I think that's the reason I watched it, and that's also the reason I used to watch. That's also the reason I used to watch Scrap Heap Challenge.
I remember that.
Like for the American viewers, you might actually have something like this because it doesn't sound that mental.
Well, actually, just quickly, Matt, seriously about that though. Rural has actually commented and said I was fairly schooled on BBC, old school Monty Python, Benny Hill, and Dave Allen. So
old school Monty Python, you can't beat that.
So you could name your thing and see if he knows it.
So Scrap Heap Challenge was one of these shows where it was like a game show sort of thing, but it wasn't really a game show. What would happen is like two teens would be dumped into a scrapyard and been told, right, this is the challenge that you've got. Go and build something to take on this challenge.
Was it kids?
There was a kids version as well, but there was like an adult version where it was like they had to build like machines to get over like a lake or something like that, or it was just something generic, something mental. It was hosted by the guy that used to play Crichton on Red Dwarf as well.
Oh shit, okay.
I didn't realise that was him until later on, because obviously like he used to always wear like all the prosthetic makeup and all that. But
that's pretty cool.
It used to be one of them shows. Like I used to sit down and watch that with my granda, and he's like a joiner. He used to show us how to make things out of scratch anyway. So like he would be like, it's like I can see how to weld all this stuff and all that. And that's kind of how my cosplay sort of mind started, where I could build things out of nothing.
But that's cool though. You've got some nostalgia with that, obviously. Not with your papa, and your papa showing you how to do things, and it's.
But there was always like that and Robot Wars.
Robot Wars, and that was hosted by
Craig Charles, also from Red Dwarf.
Again, Red Dwarf. That's right. Dave and Red Dwarf. Dave from Red Dwarf. Yeah, like I enjoy. I remember watching Red Dwarf. I'm saying like I've got a list of TV shows, but there's so much more, because like you say Men Behaving Badly, loved that. I grew up watching that. The Bill. Like even things like the Bill, like the Bill was brilliant. The Bill was fantastic. The Bill, Heartbeat. Even though I hated, you know what it is though. I loved Heartbeat, but I hated Heartbeat because Heartbeat for a British child on a Sunday night was basically
was the signal for you've got school in the morning.
Yeah, it was a signal for school tomorrow. Or sometimes I watched Heartbeat. I had a bath before Heartbeat, and then sometimes I'd be out playing a bit later than usual, so I'd miss Heartbeat. And when the theme tune finished, I was like, "That's it, out the bath." Because at 9:00 on Sunday nights on ITV was London's Burning. Fucking brilliant show. So that was it. So I either
I don't get about a Heartbeat, but right, it's been on for like 30, 40 years nearly, and they're still in the 60s. Like what's the deal with that?
I know. It's like the spin-off one with Hospital, the Royal. Like, yeah, I know. I don't get that as well. Like they never seem to have got any older.
What sort of multiverse of madness is this?
Oh yeah, that's definitely Heartbeat in the multiverse of madness. Yeah, that was definitely a crazy show. How they just were still in the 60s or whenever it was. But London's Burning, like I think London's Burning was my introduction to like more kind of adult orientated kind of dramas, like London's Burning, ER. Like I'd watch Casualty with my gran.
Oh, like Holby City and Casualty. I used to watch.
I never liked Holby City, but I liked Casualty.
Casualty, I used to love, like, because it was more about like the paramedic side of it, and it's kind of what's made me go into the nursing sort of side of stuff. But like, you think like if you were doing that job, you'd not like watching that sort of stuff. I still watch House and all that. Like, I still love watching all that stuff.
I've never watched House. I've watched one episode. Actually,
House is one of them ones. Like, see, because it's Hugh Laurie, that's what kind of got me into it. But he's a pure sarcastic bastard in it as well. So it's kind of stick with it.
Yeah,
but I like that's what else was there on a Saturday night or Sunday night? Sorry, there was one that I can't even remember what it is now. Because you said Heartbeat and it made me think of something, and now I've completely forgot.
The Bill, Coronation Street, Emmerdale, Brookside.
Fucking Brookside.
I don't know. Brooks. Home and Away, Neighbours.
Oh well, it'll come back to me. Maybe.
It'll come back.
Yeah.
See, do you ever remember now this is one for rural as well. Do you ever remember fucking Jerry Anderson? See the guy done Thunderbirds?
Yes.
Do you ever remember in 1994 Space Precinct?
No, you tell me about this at Comic-Con because
that's right. Fuck, so did. That's because I bought the shit. I bought the books. Yes, that's right. Yeah. So rural. Do you know the Space Precinct? I'll say it. Oh yeah, rural Space Precinct. What's your views on that? Now it was in the 90s, so I don't know how old you'd have been then. So I don't know if it appealed to you or not. Maybe that I don't know. Yeah, Space Precinct.
I remember Jerry Anderson stuff, but because I remember Thunderbirds and I remember Captain Scarlet.
Scarlet down, and then there's also what do you call it? What was the other one? Stingray.
Joe 90.
Stingray. That was good. That I love Thunderbirds. I thought it was a good show. That again, obviously, I only saw it through reruns, but I was mesmerized by the puppetry and that stuff. That was some good puppetry.
I was mesmerized by the scenes where it was like a puppet walking towards a drawer, and then they'd open the drawer and it was human hands and stuff like that. Then,
They done little things.
This doesn't add up. What's going on here?
They done little things like that. Yeah, I know what you're saying because there was things like the only thing it kind of like caught you off guard or where you were kind of like, wait a minute, was when there was explosions. And the explosions looked kind of like someone just lit a lighter and just in that with a wee bit of flame. And it was like, boom. It's the same as when you watch the old James Bond films and like there's explosions or something. Or you just see all the miniatures. It's funny. It's funny, but it's one of those things where it's like it's nostalgic. It's you grew up with it. So back then I was gonna say back then you believed in it. Back then I think I still was like, that doesn't add up. Like you said, they're walking towards a drawer and it's like human hands, and you're like, that doesn't add up.
Rural doesn't know about Space Precinct.
Do you not know what Space Precinct is? My God. I've not even got any of the books here. Space Precinct was a Jerry Anderson produced TV show of I think it was either the only live action show that he produced or one of, I don't know, but it's live action. So basically it's about two cops, Brogan and Haldane and Jane Castle, and it was basically set in space. It's like, I think Brogan was Lieutenant Brogan was a cop for the NYPD, and then it's set in the future, and then he goes into space and becomes a space cop, hence Space Precinct.
Space cop.
Yeah, space car. And I had all the toys as a kid. Oh, so good, the toys. And basically it's like alien. It's just like cops versus aliens, or cops versus, the bad guys. And some of the bad guys can be aliens, some bad guys can be good, humans. Like there was one called the Lizard. There was one villain called the Cyborg, who literally was a cyborg, or part man, part robot cyborg. Like their captain was an alien. Like it's good. Like I think it's on Amazon Prime. Then again, for you guys in America, i.e. rural, I don't know what it is for you guys. Just go on YouTube and just type in Space Precinct, and it'll come up like clips, etc. Because I think either they're all on there because some guys just thought, fuck it, I can bootleg this. But yeah, you'll find it. I get the box set because I was lucky, but I think they still sell the box sets in America. I don't know. You probably find one at a Best Buy or something, or Bargain Bucket or something.
Because I remember, like,
KFC.
Could you said Space Precinct and you got stuff at Comic-Con about it?
Yeah, I got a book. Oh, they're fucking here, actually. I'm going to get them.
I also got comics of Captain Planet,
Captain Planet?
Which is one of those shows, like, when I was wee, it was on, but I wasn't 100% interested in it. But
this
when I moved in...
This is Space Precinct, I don't know. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's Space Precinct Rural.
Do you know what it looks?
That's the comic book though. That's the comic book though. But there's
reminds me of that Will Smith Netflix movie Blight. Just looking at it.
It kinda. Do you know what? It kinda is like that actually.
But
that's like Space Precinct on Earth in LA. Is it LA or I don't know? Yeah. So that's Space Precinct, but Rural is really good. By the way, like it's. Again, I'm going to overuse this word. It's nostalgic. I'm going to overuse this word. It's funny. I've actually not got a title for this live show, so right now it just says that effing
nostalgic
guy.
as fuck.
Yeah, but I think right now it just says something like that effing guy live stream or that effing guy live Zoom. Because Steve's just like, you've not got a title. I'm just like, what do you mean? He's like, and I'm like, oh fuck, something here to do. So probably the reason why I've got no viewers is because probably people don't actually know what we're talking about. So
yeah, probably
that's what it is.
But Captain Planet is one of those shows I feel like it needs a rebirth. Like, and I feel like since we've just had Kevin and Mark for fucking Fat Man Beyond do He-Man, like they should know how to do Captain Planet, surely.
Oh, easily.
We need a superhero that is into recycling. That's what I mean. Like,
if we have
get the kids involved.
If we get the return of Captain Planet, can we get the return of Banana Man then?
Oh, aye.
Banana Man. What a show that was. Like, he basically, it's a wee boy, eats a banana, it becomes Banana Man. Like, it's just it's dumb.
Is that not part of
so fun.
Is that not part of like the Beano comics as well?
Yeah, it's part of like because I think it was aired the same time, like one after each other with like Dennis the Menace or Dennis and Gnasher.
I fucking love Dennis the Menace. I find that's on Netflix. No, Netflix. It's either Netflix or Amazon Prime.
Well, the old ones are like new versions.
The OG ones. Like,
oh, good.
The ones where Pie Face is a guy in it.
Pie Face. The episode
nowadays.
The episode that I remember from the Dennis and Gnasher or Dennis the Menace, whatever it was called, was the one where he got a haircut.
That's literally
this group of barbers are like snippity snip snip, snippity snip snip, and you're just like, fucking what, man? That's creepy.
What other cartoons have I got down here? Got a whole load.
Rural's got one. There'd be a TV show app over here called. Oh, there's a TV show app over there called Tubi. Tubi. It's got a lot of old school 80s TV shows. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, you might have Space Precinct on there because, well, it started in, I think it was like 93, 94. So you probably could find it. Yeah, it'll be on there. It'll be on there. Get it watched, and then tweet me when you've watched it. That sounds like a pure demander. Get it watched. Nah, I mean, like, just have a swatch at it. He'll not know what that means. Have a look at it. Just watch it.
There's a menace. What about Ninja Turtles?
What Brum?
Brum? Fuck.
I'm going way back now. Do you remember when we were watching Brum?
The absolute possessed little fucking motor that used to nick people's lanes.
Yeah, Brum was good. Brum, like, you know, that was a good show growing up. Brum. But yeah, I like what you were saying about TMNT. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja
I love the original one, and then I watched the early 2000s one where it was a lot darker.
No, I don't like it.
Like, I was like, no, I think it was more because I was away when that one came out, so I was like, compared to the original, like, it's nothing, but like, it was good. And then there was a newer version after them.
The 80s cartoon was the best. You know what's funny? Now, this is where we're going to go kind of like, I'm going to probably offend the Ghostbusters fans. Now, I'm a massive fan of Ghostbusters. I love Ghostbusters.
You didn't like Real Ghostbusters?
I never watched I see the Real Ghostbusters, like the original cartoon. Never watched it. I've watched, don't get me wrong, I've watched it more now because when I was on Prime and all that kind of stuff, so I've watched it recently. But like growing up, I never watched it. My first introduction to animated Ghostbusters was the Extreme Ghostbusters with the female Ghostbuster with the kind of purple hair. It was like kind of maybe 2001, 2002. That was my first introduction to, like, you know, animated Ghostbusters. I never watched the Real Ghostbusters, but yeah, I've watched it recently, obviously, so it's brilliant. It's great. But it was just when I was growing up, that was my only Ghostbusters, was the Extreme Ghostbusters.
I wasn't like no, I never really watched it. I didn't know it was a thing, to be honest, because I was one of them ones that never had Cartoon Network or anything like that, so I didn't really get a chance to see it. But Susie, my missus, she was one of the ones that got me into that and Captain Planet. That was two of the main shows that she used to watch when she was wee, and she sat me down.
I can't believe I haven't watched Captain Planet. I've never watched
Captain Planet was just I'd never really seen anything about Captain Planet at the time, and then I heard rumors about this thing. I thought it was all made up when they says it was a mad guy that comes together when 5 children come together and all this, and he's got hockey hair and all this, and I was like, this sounds fucking made up. Who's on drugs?
I remember watching. Is it Captain Caveman?
Oh, Captain Caveman!
I remember watching Captain Caveman. I watched Captain Caveman because that was that Hanna-Barbera?
Right.
Hanna-Barbera. Has it Barbara or Barbera?
No, one of them.
One of them anyway. Because they had that, because it was always shown in Cartoon Network. It was like Captain Caveman, then it was Wacky Races, then Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo. It was all about Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, and then you had Hong Kong Phooey. Hong Kong Phooey. Do you know they attempted to do a live action version of that with Eddie Murphy as the voice of Hong Kong Phooey? See if you go on YouTube. No, if you go on YouTube, there's like a 5-minute like test sequence with CGI Hong Kong Phooey, and it actually, you're like, that's fucking good. But I think at the time it came out, I think
it wasn't good.
No, it's not. No, it's not a thing. It's a 5-minute test footage.
All right.
So when they produced it, I think at the point the Yogi Bear movie had been made.
Oh,
right, absolute flop. So I think it was Paramount were just like, fuck that, bin it. I mean, not that Paramount haven't created a fucking CGI shitfest with, you know, Transformers and the TMNT movies, but, you know, pre them, it was definitely Paramount. They attempted Hong Kong Phooey, and we're just like, fuck, if Yogi Bear failed, who the fuck's going to care about who's going to care about fucking Hong Kong Phooey?
Did they not do Underdog at one point as well?
Who?
Paramount. Did they not do Underdog? Or is that somebody else?
I don't know. No, I think that's not Warner Bros.
Might have been.
Probably. I don't know. Or Universe. I don't know.
They might not be the
I don't know.
same. They might be not be under Hanna-Barbera.
I don't
Barbera.
know. Barbera.
Oh well.
I don't know.
I do remember an Underdog movie, but that's.
I know you're talking about actually. Rural said, "Yeah, TMNT. Yeah, of course, fucking great." I said there's anime I watched back then. We called it Japanation. Is that actually something? Did you actually make that word up? That's a fucking good word, actually. Japanation. Did you honestly make that up, Rural? Japanimation.
We're probably butchering
you're onto something, by the way. That could work. So he said Robotech and Star Blazers. I actually remember them. Who is that again? I remember Robotech and Star Blazers. I remember brief. Oh, fuck, I know who that is. What is that again? Robotech, I know that. Star Blazers, I heard of it, but I don't think I ever watched it. But Robotech, I watched that, I'm sure. I think I did. Yep, Hong Kong Fu, even though I was a Looney Tunes kid. Oh, that's right. Hong Kong Fu wasn't Looney Tunes, was he? Oh, fuck. Well done, fucked up there. That's right. Hong Kong Fu wasn't the Looney Tunes. What was Hong Kong
Woody
Fu?
Woodpecker.
Oh, no. That's right. Hong Kong Fu was Hanna-Barbera. Looney Tunes. I keep getting mixed up. So Hanna-Barbera was Scooby-Doo, Wacky Races, Jetsons.
Captain Caveman.
Warner Brothers were Looney Tunes like Bugs Bunny. That's right. Sorry. Moving on. What were you going to say there?
What about Woody Woodpecker?
I'm sorry. I didn't even try to do the laugh there. I just tried. I don't know what the fuck happened there.
It's like one of them involuntary actions when you hear something, you're just kind of got to do it.
Woody Woodpecker was good. Woody Woodpecker was good. I never watched the live action CGI hybrid movie. I never watched that.
Yeah, it's nightmare fuel. That that's like the Garfield movie. Like we just don't talk about it.
Oh, the Garfield movie. Well, Bill Murray in Zombieland. What's your biggest regret? Garfield and Woody Harrelson's just nodding his head. Yeah. Speaking of Woody Harrelson, I watched Venom 2: Let There Be Carnage last night for the first time, and it's one of those kind of things where it was pretty decent. Carnage was absolutely slaughtered on that film. Like he was not the Carnage that we know and love from the comic books or anything like that. But Woody Harrelson really was good as Carnage. He was good as Cletus. But it's one of those kind of things where it was a fun hour and a half, literally an hour and a half film. And it's like when it got good, it was the end, and you're just like, wait, what? Like you could like almost exactly tell when we're in the third act, and you're just like, wait, this is we're at the end already? But it was pretty decent, I must admit. It's not a bad movie, actually. Like it's along the lines of the first Venom and then Morbius and just Sony doing their shit. Like they're all okay. But then it ends with the multiversal situation where he gets zapped out of his world into another world, and you at the end of which makes sense now because I hadn't seen Venom 2 before I seen No Way Home. So when I seen Tom Hardy, I'm just like, what the fuck's he doing there? And when he get yanked back in his universe, I'm just like, huh? Now it makes sense. But yeah, Venom 2 it's pretty. I mean, do you know what? It's one of those kind of things where would I watch a Venom 3? Yeah. I've watched them now. I might as well watch them again. Rural's like, Jordan, have you seen the 2010 Japanese planet battleship Yamato? The live action Star Blazers? No. But I will actually screenshot this live chat and check it out. So if you watch Space Precinct, here's your homework then, Rural. If you watch Space Precinct, I'll watch Japanese battleship Yamato, and we'll get back and we'll chat. There's a deal. Yeah. Anything else before we go?
Do you remember there's one of the movies of the 90s, Evolution?
Yeah, fantastic. Ivan Reitman.
Do you remember the cartoon of that?
Yeah.
How fucking weird is it? Like I watched the movie the other day and I was like, this is absolutely nothing to do with the movie at all.
The movie's just like that kind of early 2000 just cheese fest of Ghostbusters worked in 1984 and 1989. Sorry, let's try and make Ghostbusters with X-Files with literally David Duchovny from X-Files.
David Duchovny and Stifler,
yeah. I mean, like it was funny because Sean William Scott, like God love him, the man tries, but everything he's in, I'm just like Stifler. Like, and I feel so bad, but don't get me wrong though. I think his character in Evolution was essentially just Stifler. Like, I think it was meant to be Stifler.
Aye. In the cartoon, he got some character development though. Like,
yeah,
he ended up getting infected with like the evolution sort of bacteria gene stuff, and then he was able to like morph into things as well. So you're just like, okay,
why
this is.
not? Why
And then
not?
you're just like, why was this not in the movie? This would have been amazing. Like,
budgetary reasons.
aye.
Rural said deal. Okay, that's cool. Then we'll do that then.
Excellent.
Yeah, like Sean William Scott has done like loads of other things. I'm just like, just Stifler's a cop, Stifler's a killer, Stifler is this, Stifler and fucking X-Files. Like, it's just Stifler. I feel bad for him because he's a sound guy.
Aye.
He's a sound guy, but he's just Stifler. Just speaking of like cartoons of like movies, do you ever remember watching the Godzilla TV cartoon?
Oh yeah,
it's fucking terrible, isn't it? I love how excited you got. I'm just
but like
terrible,
I was not a fan of the 1999, 98 movie, right? Because I'd watched like the old Japanese versions. I'd watched what Godzilla was. He was an absolute fucking beast, and then this piece of shit turned up. But the TV show I thought was okay because they had him like every episode fighting a brand new monster sort of thing.
Fair enough, I guess.
So that's what I liked about it, because it was more like the traditional movies. It was still shit, but like it was better than I thought it was going to be. But another one of the movies that for some reason got a cartoon that had nothing to do with the actual movie, The Mummy. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. What?
It was like
that cartoon.
It was like set around like the second movie where their son had that manacle thing on.
Yeah.
And he was able to have like superpowers and stuff like that. And you're just like, that's nothing to do with the movie.
I didn't like that cartoon at all.
Like, it was one of the ones I watched it, but I was like, I couldn't understand what the fuck was going on. Like, I liked the Mummy. I loved the Mummy movies. Like,
the first film was fantastic, but I didn't like the cartoon. It was just too. It was the kind of end of the era of like cartoons of movies.
Aye.
And I think it was kind of like one of the kind of last of the kind of things. I didn't like the Evolution cartoon. I didn't like the Mummy cartoon. And I didn't like the Godzilla one. I thought they were all quite shit. Like, I just
it was more. It was kind of like running about the same time.
I think as well at that point as well. I was,
You've paused. There we go. Right. It was running about the same time as there was loads of straight to console movie games as well.
Yeah, what's happened to that, by the way?
That's completely disappeared now. Like, I couldn't tell you the last time I seen a movie game. No. Xbox 360 was the last time I remember it, because it was like Captain America, the first Avenger, was the last one I remember playing.
Yeah. We now have supposedly Kirsty and my mother are watching us now, so do not swear. Ah, fuck. What was that? So like they were the kind of last of the kind of cartoons of like movies. Same with, like you said, like games as well. They no longer do the kind of like games of movies, or they're not as like kind of in the public eye as much. They're not as common. Yeah. We're going to obviously now, guys, wrap it up. Not because my girlfriend and my mum are watching it, but we're going to wrap up because we're nearly an hour and a half already, and I like to keep it, at that kind of mark. But we'll quickly do a quick fire round of TV shows I've not mentioned. So I've got a list. So Lois and Clark, The Superman Adventures, great. 90s Superman, Xena, Warrior Princess.
Oh,
Lucy Lawless.
Buffy.
I only done that because Kirsty's watching. I can't wait to see the text. You dick! Can't believe that live. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Angel.
I'm getting back into Angel. I'm watching that on Disney Plus right now. Like,
they're all on Disney Plus now. That's right. I know. Yeah, I think I've got one of them saved actually. I think I've got Buffy saved. Rugrats.
Oh, Rugrats.
Rugrats. I remember playing the PS1 game of that. It was so good. It was so good. And Rugrats the movie as well, with the big Reptar car thing.
Oh,
Rugrats in Paris.
the Reptar wagon.
And then the Wild Thornberrys.
Oh,
Wild Thornberrys. Batman Beyond. Or Batman of the Future, whatever you live when you're watching
Batman
this.
Beyond.
Everybody Loves Raymond before school. It was like Friends, then Everybody Loves Raymond. Then King of the Hill. Or King of the Hill and then King of Queens. King of the Hill was good.
I don't know what King of Queens is.
We had the Simpsons as well. It's Kevin James. King of
no,
Queens.
Aye, right.
Obviously, I forgot to mention, but the number one, The Simpsons. But that's just the Simpsons. Obviously, is iconic. It's a given. Like if you're raised in the 90s and if you haven't watched The Simpsons, what the fuck is wrong with you? Who were your parents? Do you have a TV? Like I know that's terrible because there's not a lot of people who have TVs. But it was just like, what? Why would you not watch Simpsons? Don't get me wrong. Me and Steve spoke about this few weeks ago when we're talking about Simpsons or something. I don't know why we're talking about Simpsons. And we did say that the Simpsons should have finished after the movie, because after the movie it got too kind of it's all right, but it's just the movie was the movie should have been the be all end all. Just that's it. Let's just go out on a high note. Let's do a movie and that's at the end. And then maybe in a few years' time, do a kind of we're back. Let's see what happens now. But this whole it's still going on like 15 years after the movie, like 30 years after it fucking started. It's unbelievable. Yeah, Everybody Loves Raymond. I loved Everybody Loves Raymond. My mum, if she is watching, will remember that. So when we were getting ready for school, it was like Friends, Everybody Loves Raymond, and then King of Queens. I enjoyed Everybody Loves Raymond. Raymond Romano. Is it Raymond Romano? Is that his name? Ray Romano. And then the big guy, the big eyes. I can't remember what it's called again. I was going to say Frank, but the dad was called Frank. I can't remember what it was. Robert, Big Robert. Yes, his big brother was called Robert. The big black eyes, like Frankenstein's monster. Oh, he's funny as hell.
The Monsters.
Was that
the Monsters?
What? The Monsters.
Aye.
Yeah,
I watched that more than I watched the Addams Family, like because it was on a lot more, and I watched a load of stuff.
Yeah.
On YouTube videos and stuff like that of the Monsters, and it's pure getting me hyped up for the Rob Zombie movie now.
Yeah, the Rob Zombie PG movie. How's that working?
Oh, well,
the Monsters, I like the Monsters. Yeah, the Monsters were quite good actually. With big, what was the guy called? What was the guy who played him again?
I can't remember, but he's in Pet Sematary.
Yes, he played Judge. Judd.
I love it. Like I don't know, I can't remember the name of the actor, but I just love everything that guy's in because he's just one of them really nice guys. Looking.
Fred something anyway.
Aye.
He seemed like a nice big guy to meet.
Aye.
He seemed like a big kind of southern, voice, just like, and his character as well. Like I loved the original Pet Sematary. I was really shocked that the fact that when the remake came out, or the new version came out, that nobody knew that there was an original film in the 80s. I'm like, where have you been? Dan's on. Yes, Dan. Boo. Dan's here. Okay, we'll stay. Right, Dan, we're going to finish up, but we'll stay on for 5 minutes. Dan, quick fire round. Throw in some TV shows that we can talk about. I'm not going through the list we've done, but just throw a few shows out there. Matty,
if he doesn't throw out Clone Wars just to piss you off, like
he will. No, but it's shows to grow up with, so you can't do that. That's you can't do that.
It was on my list.
Was that actually? Well, then again, because you're younger than why that makes sense actually. You were just mentioning about the Addams Family. See, so what I remember watching the Monsters here and there. The Addams Family, though, I never really watched the old black and white ones, but in the early 2000s, there was it's called the New Addams Family. There's a new version, and it was on ITV. It was like, I think that, like, if I can remember correctly, the theme tune was like, "Welcome to the Addams Family." It was like something like that. I remember that. That was
No.
really good actually. Dun-dun-dun. That was good. I remember watching that when I was growing up actually. Obviously, I keep saying that, but obviously everything's a bit grown up. Dan said Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah, Buffy was good. Buffy was, yeah, like I like Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Buffy was a staple of the 90s and the early 2000s.
I had a poster. I had a poster of Buffy on my wall. Great show. But I never realized until years later that Buffy was a movie at one point. I'm just like, what?
That's on Disney Plus as well.
I know, it's so weird. If
I never watched that, but
I saw because David Arquette's in it. He plays a vampire in it. So weird. Best show ever. Best show ever, but tainted by Whedon. Oh yeah, good point. Yeah, we'll maybe not mention that, but the X-Files. Aye, the X-Files is the X-Files.
I'm working my way through that because I think I'm on like season 4 of that because I'd watched like all the episodes of the X-Files, but I'm sitting down religiously to try and watch the whole way through it now because it's one of them ones. It's like Supernatural. Like
I can't watch Supernatural.
I used to love watching Supernatural. That's where the tattoos for. But
is it?
I fell away from it for ages, and then I was like, do you know what? X-Files and Buffy, like they're like two of the shows that are kind of the starting point for these sort of shows. So like I wanted to go back.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm working my way through the X-Files.
What was I going to say? My first introduction to the X-Files was the movie. I watched the movie and then I watched. I don't know how many I got through when I was younger, but I got through a few episodes, and then never watched it again. But I have watched it a lot more recently again with Disney Plus, thankfully. But do you know what's one of those kind of things? Actually, I don't think I've actually watched like a whole of like season 1, season 2. I've just kind of pinpointed like episodes that I've heard of and been told, oh, that's a good episode. I've just watched it. Like there's one of the episodes. It's called Home, Home, and it's supposed to be one of the kind of most disturbing, brutal episodes of the X-Files. And I watched it, and it's fucking insane. Like it is, like it's a whole different ballgame. I'm just like, what? How did they get away? How did they get away with this? Dan will back me up and probably like either it's good or he'd be like, nah, you're talking shit. But yeah, the episode Home. But yeah, I remember watching the film and being sick. I got spewed up because it made me sick. I was that petrified of the X-Files movie. I was sick.
Dan's called it the UK thingy, the European version of Turtles.
Hey,
remember when they used to be called that?
Yeah. Why was that called the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles? Why was that?
I remember the theme tune of that, like that being religiously drilled into me, and then I went to school and everybody was calling it Mutant.
I know, it's so weird. Why was that? Why did we do that? I hate the UK. Why did we do that? So yeah, I remember my mum as well. Like she'll back me up. Like I remember she was up with me all night. I was spewing rings round the toilet seat because I was just like spewing up after watching the X-Files movie because it made me so sick. That with the same with Starship Troopers as well, which this year's the 25th anniversary of Starship Troopers. A fantastic achievement of 90s cheesy, fest, nostalgic, Paul Verhoeven, brutal effects, stands test of time, still stands up to this day. Another film that made me spew my ring because it was just that was gruesome. That's even to this day, I watch it and be like, fuck, that is brutal. So Dan says best shows as a kid, Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, but obviously don't get confused. It's still TMNT. The Real Ghostbusters, like I said, Dan, I never watched the Real Ghostbusters until recently. I was more inclined to watch the Extreme Ghostbusters just because of the fact that I grew up with that, and then trying to get the Real Ghostbusters like in the last 10 plus years, you can't really find them anywhere. Obviously YouTube as well, but I want to watch like DVDs and stuff like that. But I think where is it? It's on Amazon. I bought it on Amazon. I think they're all on Amazon now. So yeah, I watched that. Hey Arnold. Yes. Hey Arnold is so good. Big football head. Hey Arnold. Home is a great episode. So the X-Files Home is it's a very good episode. As I'm saying, I wasn't sure if like you would be in the same line as me, but I found it really good. 25th anniversary of us getting the watch along. Yeah. So that's a dig by Dan, but I'll accept it. I'll lift up my armor and let you stab me. So long story short, me, Steve, and Dan filmed a watch along of Starship Troopers way last year. way last year when we first started podcast of the Old Republic, SW Pro Tour, which is coming back actually, mate, a grand return with Dan himself going in solo. The big
It's
prick
been
he
nearly
is.
2
Nah, I
years
love
since you
him.
started that.
What's that?
It's been nearly, it's a year and a half since you
Yeah,
started
almost
podcast of the
2
Old
years,
Republic.
year and a half. So we done I wanted to do a thing for my YouTube channel, and it was going to be a watch along of Starship Troopers. So we done it, and it was an absolute laugh. And Dan and Steve were pissed, like they were both properly pissed. And it was a sort of a kind of revenge plot because I was pissed for the majority of the POTOR recordings. So they thought, fuck you, fat boy, we'll get our own back. So they basically tried to get their own back. And it was an absolute scream, but it was just so difficult to edit. So I was editing it bit by bit. I was like, I don't know what to do here. I'm trying so hard to edit it. And I don't know if Dan knows this actually. So my laptop went through an absolute meltdown about a month ago. And it just basically deleted like 90% of my stuff on my laptop get deleted. But it was just at the point where we just recorded like the Morbius review. So I was like, oh Jesus Christ, it's gone. But for some strange reason, the memory somewhere in my MacBook backed up the Morbius review just ever so slightly. So like the footage wasn't lost. So I had actually edited a full episode that was gone, but the raw footage was still there, thankfully. But I told Steve this. I think I told Dan this as well. I don't know if I put in the group chat, but it turned out that the whole entire 2 hours of Starship Troopers got deleted, so it's gone. So it's one of those kind of like the greatest ever watch along commentary that never happened or never sees the light of day. So yeah, Dan, to brush up all of that, it's never going to get shown again. But we could do one this year. We could do a 25th anniversary watch along. I was actually thinking about doing it on here, if you guys want to watch. I'm also thinking about doing a Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. 40th anniversary watch along this either June or July, whenever the UK release date was for it. I'm going to do it here live on YouTube on my That Ethan Guy YouTube channel, which you're on right now, obviously, if you're watching. So if you want to watch it, we'll do a 40th anniversary watch along of Wrath of Khan. We'll try and squeeze in a 25th anniversary viewing of Starship Troopers, and then also even better, a 35th anniversary viewing of RoboCop. So I'm going to try and get them. Yes. So I'm going to try and get them done. So what we're going to do, Matty, is I'm going to hit it with you now. I'll figure out when you're free, and we'll do all 3 of them.
Excellent.
Live stream. Rural is getting excited. I can hear him screaming from America right now. Dan just said RIP, ha ha ha. I'm being serious, Dan, by the way. I've literally lost all the footage of the Starship Troopers watch along, and it's so gutting. But it's one of those kind of things where I was so pleased I saved the Morbius review footage that I was I just forgot about it. And then I was like, a few days later, I was like, I was going to go into my thing. I was like, where's Starship Troopers? I was like, oh, son of a bitch. It was gone. Gone, but not forgotten. It's one of those kind of, like I said, it's the what could have been the greatest watch along commentary that never was. Or never will be edited anyway. I'm going
to look like I enjoyed it when you guys did It's Only a Movie, but I've missed the podcast of the Old Republic nights where we were just sitting down and watch the Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
And we just literally nothing would be spoken for a good 20 minutes nearly sometimes, but we'd all be watching the same movie.
Yeah.
Like
I said, Dan's bringing it back, and Dan will obviously comment. Feel free to comment, Dan. He's bringing it back. I don't know. I don't think he knows exactly when. I think he's going to try and do it for Obi-Wan next week. I'm not sure.
That would be a good comeback.
Whether he asks me or Steve to guest on his new solo venture is yet to be seen, but I will happily participate. And maybe that's an idea for Dan. Maybe we should finish the Star Wars saga watch along, because I think we got to.
We definitely.
We got to New Hope. I think we got
done 1, 2, 3, Solo, Rogue One, 4, 5, Did we get to 6?
I don't know if did we do Rogue One?
We definitely did Rogue One because I did a review of Rogue One with all of that, like on my side, and it was because I was watching it with you guys.
I think we got to New Hope. And that was it. Because I'm sure I was getting so excited for Empire Strikes Back. I don't think we've done Empire Strikes Back. No, I don't think. I think we cut the cords. So yeah, Dan.
I definitely
listen to.
I miss those nights.
I know. We'll try and get it back. Do message Dan, pressure Dan.
Everybody in the chat.
And we'll try and get the Empire Strikes Back watch along, and we'll continue with Return of the Jedi, and so on and so forth. Surely. Yeah, we did do Rogue One. Okay, Dan, we did do it then. So we did them in like chronological order then. That's fair enough.
Aye.
So yeah, well, next would be Empire Strikes Back then. So come on, Dan, let's be having you. So yeah, we're going to finish now because that's been almost 2 hours. We've run over time by a little bit more, but hey ho. Matty, thank you. Like I said, we're going to try and do this more often. I'm going to try and do at least I think, yeah, so Dan said, yeah, I think it's up to Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, so Empire Strikes Back's next then. So I'm going to try and do a live stream once a week. Then, Matty, as much as he can. We're then going to try and do some pre-recorded content, rather than just, bombarding you guys with a 2-hour-long live stream. I'm going to use some of my editing skills, my so-called editing skills, and we'll do a pre-recorded, stuff. I'm also going to start. I know this is very premature, but I'm also going to start recording content for Halloween and Christmas.
Ooh,
like my top 10 Halloween films, etc. Keep it safe in the bank and throw it up in October. Just so I'm ahead of myself with kind of big stuff like that. I've started to do like rankings of I've done a ranking video for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. That when I got halfway through the editing, I was like, this is pretty shit, and I deleted it all. It was like 2 hours. I was like, I'm really bored. I'm bored of listening to myself. So I just didn't, it just is what it is. But I'm going to start doing things like rankings of movies, etc. Get Matty on, get his opinion. Obviously, we've done, nostalgia trip down memory lane with TV shows, cartoons, live action, whatever. In a few weeks' time, we'll come back and we'll do movies, Jurassic Park, Jaws, whatever you grew up with, guys. Rural, I'd love to have you come by in the live chat, Dan, etc., Steve, anyone else. But to everyone who was watching and listening and commenting down below, Rural, Dan, etc., thank you very much. Rural said yes, missed the watch-alongs. Yeah, we need to do the watch-alongs again. Pleasure as always, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Oh yeah, bye from Matty as well. Say bye, Matty.
Bye.
I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to end this. Because I know for a fact when I click, no, that's right. It's oh wait, it's not that right. So I can't end the Zoom because if I end the Zoom, it's not ending the live chat. It's just gonna cut Matty off straight away completely. Right, here we go. Right, I think this is. I don't know how to turn this off. I don't know how to turn this off. I don't know if I end this. I don't know if I click end and right, Matty's gone. So see on the screen, Matty, it's just me myself. How that?
I don't know.
So see watching that right now, it's just me myself.
Going on Zoom, you're still live on YouTube.
I don't want to end meeting because I end meeting. Stop live stream. There we go. Right, it's back to me. So the way that I done that then, so I cut myself to it was just me myself, then it's been back to you and me. Right, anyway, that's us, guys. Officially, we're finishing the live stream. Okay, I found how to do stop live stream. It's because I've got the new Zoom updated to my laptop, and I got the new update on my laptop. It's updated Zoom, and it's moved things about, so it's not in my usual spot. I hate that. Rural says, may the force be with you, boys. May the force be with you too, Rural, and to everyone else. I thank you, and watch out for Obi-Wan next week. I cannot believe we're now in the week of Obi-Wan, or the week. Well, we're near. Yeah,
week in a couple of days.
Week in a couple of days. I'm going to stop talking now. Bye, guys. Bye, Matty.